All right, so we're here for another drink, another round, if you will, of James Bond cocktails. Today, since we are reviewing the second movie from Russia with Love, we found a drink in the Shaken book, the Red Grant. So the Red Grant is the main antagonist, I guess, right
Right.
from the movie. And so the drink, which you showed yours and I show mine, is very red. How did you want to talk about how you made yours? Or you want me
Sure.
to tell you how it's supposed to be made, or
Why don't you say how it's supposed to be made, and then you and
all
I
right? So
can.
it's okay, that's fine. So it's supposed to be made with Irish whiskey. It says 12-year-old red breast, 12-year-old Irish
Whatever
whiskey.
that means.
Yeah, I love my breast red. Um,
Mm.
Carpano Antica formula or another red vermouth, Campari. Oh, so sorry. 2 ounces of whiskey, 3/4 ounce of the vermouth, half an ounce of Campari, half an ounce of beetroot syrup, and a dash of Bitterman's Hellfire Habanero Shrub Bitters. And then it's supposed to be topped with a beetroot powder rose, which I thought about doing, and then I was like, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah,
It
I
looks,
skipped all together.
it definitely looks good though in the picture in the book. So the whole point of it, the description has it saying, the dude Grant is he's an Irish guy. He's basically a hired killer, a hired gun. So it says that so where am I at here? Man, okay. It just says basically he's a psychopathic executioner charged with murdering James Bond, destroys his reputation. So this cocktail is a killer of a drink that draws both on Grant's Irish roots and his Russian employers. So I guess what's Russian? Maybe it's
Red.
the
The fact that it's all red.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so fun fact is I actually went out today and I know you said you're using vermouth
Yeah, just
regular.
regular. Yeah.
I ended up grabbing some red vermouth and I found the Bitterman's bitters.
Okay.
So I basically made it to a T, except for I just substituted one thing,
What's that?
and it was the 12-year-old whiskey.
Okay.
And instead of using 12-year-old whiskey, I used Fighting Cock bourbon.
Oh man,
Because there's nothing more.
You and
There's
that
nothing more
fighting cock.
Irish. There's nothing more Irish than a fighting cock.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, how many episodes have we used fighting cock?
I gotta get rid of it. I gotta get my $10 worth, bro.
Oh man, it's so bad.
So I'm hoping it's masked by the 5 other ingredients. But how did you make yours?
Okay, so I used last drink we made. I used the Whistle Pig Piggyback rye,
Mhm.
and then I just used regular vermouth. I used whatever rando bitters I have. I had Campari. I used that, and the only other thing I didn't spend the extra time making the beetroot syrup.
Oh yeah, I use beet juice.
Well, I I did half and half. I used half simple syrup, and then I added the beet juice. So
Okay,
I didn't make the syrup like last time when we made the tea syrup.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I just used beet juice from the jar. Half an ounce. So I took a sip, and it's not terrible.
You know, I was actually afraid of this drink.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when I was making it, I was like, man, vermouth. Vermouth is pretty dry, and I'm like, okay, vermouth, rye, and then Campari's bitter. And then you add a little more bitters, and I don't know anyone who just randomly drinks beet juice, but no,
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Well, it was funny because I was putting things in it, And, you know, sometimes you add something you're like, oh, that's going to be good. Oh, that's going to be good. You know, like maybe you add pineapple juice and like, that's going to be good. There was not one ingredient I was adding in here that was like, I can't wait to try this.
Right.
It was like, oh, bud. I was like, all right, some vermouth. Okay. Some habanero bitters. Okay. You know, like I was like, just keep adding it up. And then, so I said, fuck it, I'm putting fighting cock in it. And I was like, oh, cock's going in there.
Yeah, and I know we don't have this in the drink scale, but if like someone
We could, okay.
well, I was just gonna say if someone randomly in the group, you know, I don't know if we asterisk it or whatever, but like we'll get into my actual ranking, but like I feel like I would be pleasantly surprised if somebody ordered this for me. And, you know, I took a sip and, yeah, or if I read it and, you know, went out on a whim, I'm more surprised at, you know, how well I enjoy it. That being said, this isn't my favorite. Like,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I would definitely...
Shocking.
I would definitely drink it again. I'm definitely not going off menu for it. But like,
What about compared to the Dr.No?
oh man,
Because we could almost have these drinks compared to each other. You know what I mean? Because if they're all specialized, and we are taking it from a book,
see,
so it's not like
sure
we're making it on our own.
Well, of the two, I would still put the Dr.No higher, even though it may or may not have gotten me sick.
Yeah.
For the 4 people that were listening last episode,
I saw the Peychaud's bitters when I got the Bittermans, which was in a Dr.No drink. And I was like, oh, of course, it was right there. And I was like, I could have. But I will say it is kind of funny that for a character that's known for drinking martinis, the first 2 drinks have been whiskey.
Yeah, and I was... I laughed a little when I was making this, you know, because, like, I was in my liquor cabinet. I'm like, man, if we keep slamming through all these whiskey drinks, I'm going to have to go buy some more piggyback.
Yeah, I didn't look into what a Goldfinger is, but I don't know if it's also whiskey.
I imagine...
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
you want to be Goldschlager, right?
I was going to say, I imagine it's just a whole bottle of Goldschlager. What are we drinking, Goldschlager neat?
Yeah, you know, gold. That's all you need, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I got it right here, actually. Ready?
Yeah.
For a little preview for everybody. Oh, all right. Whatever. We might have to edit this one out. Or tweak it. It wants premium cognac.
Oh, brother, I'm in.
You got cognac on hand?
I don't, but Shannon Sharp has made...
Martell XO or other premium cognac. And then a 1985 port.
Okay. like beer?
Man. No, like wine.
Oh, okay.
And then
porter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Port. Yeah, not a porter.
Oh.
Port. I know it gets even weirder. They want blood orange sherbet.
Okay.
We'll get to this another day. But yeah. And then Bollinger champagne.
Man, maybe we are or we're not making that.
we could edit. We could tweak it. I think we should look into tweaking. And it's in a gold chalice. You got a gold chalice?
I sure don't.
It looks very nice. So, back to this drink. Comparing it to Dr.No, you think this is below that?
Yeah. So, like, do we give half points on drinks?
Not typically.
I mean,
not usually.
Cause what's a 2? 2's you finish it, but you're not gonna.
Yeah, it's like not the whole for you.
And then 3 is like I'll order another round. Like,
yeah. And then 4 is like you seeked out.
Yeah, like
this drink.
I feel like for this, like, I'm gonna go off menu and say 2.5. Like, I know we don't give half points, but like we
don't give half points. Yeah, what are you doing? Why you want like half a drink? You want to fill up half your glass?
No,
Like,
I just mean like I don't know. It's weird because like I would probably order another round of this, but I wouldn't have more than two. Like this.
Okay.
Now,
well, this is like one of the. It's a very stiff drink. It's a stiffy.
So maybe you don't need more than two.
Yeah, right. You're down with two, and you're thrown up into your room again.
Well, I had 3 of those, and I also think I gave myself heat exhaustion the night before, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, with that one, not to get too much into the Dr.No, but I kind of called it. I said I don't do very well with sweet drinks when I drink too many of them. Yeah, I guess I drink too many of them. I don't.
Maybe. I only physically saw you drink one, so I don't know if you were just slamming them on the side.
Well, I made 4 of them. So what you saw was I drank my one, and then I had a big glass of the other 3.
So you made one big one and then one little one.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd give this a 2.
Hey.
Mostly because I just don't. 1, I don't really seek out whiskey.
Yeah.
2, I don't really seek out beet juice. 3, I don't really seek out like spicy drinks. It's not bad because it was not a 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, like I would try it at a bar and be like, okay, cool, I tried it.
Hey, so
kind of thing.
With my 3 and your 2, what does that make us? 2.5?
2.5. There you
go. There we
go.
go.
You can get an average of a half. You cannot give a half point.
I think this drink, and I don't know, maybe I'm being too generous to it, but I also feel like I give out a lot of 3s and probably more 4s than I should, but I don't know, it's hard for me to really
generous man here.
Yeah. Also, you're talking about like whiskey, like I tend to enjoy whiskey a little more. Plus, you and I are making these drinks a little separate. So, I get to use a whiskey I like, that kind of thing. You've been slumming it with the Fighting Cock.
I know. It's funny because I was at the ABC store getting Campari. I could have got a decent whiskey.
Yeah, but if you're not a whiskey guy and you're like, man, do I really want to buy, spend $50 on a bottle that I'm not going to drink?
I was like, I'm just gonna get the cock in me. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to. All right, everyone, we're back for another round of James Bonding with Bond, or Bonding over Bond. I think we're going to have both names until we figure out one to stick with.
Was it Bonding over Bond or Bonding with Bond?
Exactly.
All right.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. And whatever the title is that you see on Spotify, whatever, that's the one we're going to go with. But this is episode 2 of the series. It's going to be the second movie, From Russia with Love. Earlier we talked about the drink we made for it. And now we're going to talk about the movie. So, Mike, you want to give a little rundown of the whole movie?
I'll give a little rundown.
Is it a 2-hour movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
All right. So this movie starts out with James Bond running through, I don't know, like a statue obstacle field park in the dark. There's another individual, bad guy chasing him. Eventually, Bond gets shot. He dies. We're like, oh no. Turns out this is like some crazy assassin training ground. And I assume they just like captured some poor schmuck and put on a James Bond mask. And,
which I know you want to like power through the synopsis, or you want me to comment on it?
You comment, or you can save your comments to the end, but yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to say that, like, I don't think this is an accurate barometer for if you can catch James Bond or not.
I yeah, I mean, I have no idea what the credentials of this rando was.
Mustache guy.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, yeah.
I mean,
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like
no,
derail.
you're fine. We're good. We're still figuring this out, you know. Um, so then from there, you eventually get to this cutscene with was it number 1, number 3, and number 5 of Spectre? I think that was
Spectre. Yeah, it was 3. She was 3. He was 5. Kronstein.
Was he not number 1?
He was number 5. Kronstein's 5. The chess dude.
Yeah, but the guy petting the cat.
That's 1. Yeah, that's Blofeld. Blofeld. Yeah.
Okay. So.
Well, I guess they didn't really call him Blofeld at the time. They just called him number 1.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying. I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
Fair.
So number 1, number 3, number 5 are talking, and effectively, they create this like, I don't know, this conspiracy, this trap for Bond that they're going. Number 3 is going to lure Bond in with this Russian spy, this hottie. And then they're also going to pick up that assassin, and they're going to use him to kill Bond that we saw earlier, killing fake Bond. And then it cuts to James Bond kind of picking up from where he left off from Dr.No. He's back in London. He's trying to bang this girl in the park.
It's the same girl from the first movie.
Oh, man, that went way over my head.
Yeah, it's the same girl from the very first casino scene. What was her name?
Okay, got it. But it wasn't Honey Rider because she...
No, it wasn't that one. It was it was the one from the very beginning. Because she makes a comment about, like...
Yeah, running off for 6 months or something like that. You know,
to Jamaica.
I haven't seen you since Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's getting a call on his car phone, which was, you know, really fancy in the 60s, you know, that he had a car phone. Goes into the office. They tell him about this Russian defector. You know, they all smell a trap. But Bond sees this picture and like, damn it, he's in. You know, pretty girl. Like, I don't even care if it's a trap. I'm gonna let my dick walk me into a trap. I
like M's comment there. He's like, well, what if she doesn't like me? And he's like, well, just make sure that she does. And I was like, oh, typical Bond move. How about you just make sure? Do your thing, brother.
Yeah. You know, tell Bond he can't pick up a woman. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
You know. So then Bond goes to Istanbul. He meets up with his sidekick for the movie. It's like Kiram Bell or something like that.
Karam Bey. Yeah.
Man, I was so close.
Yeah,
They talk a little bit. Bond goes to his hotel. He sees that it's wiretapped. He tells them that he wants a different room because the bed's too small. And then from there, we have a scene in which Kieran Bay's office gets blown up, which then they take this like underground sewer infested with rats. They end up hanging with the gypsies. There's this gypsy fight where the gypsy camp gets. No, I'm talking about the overall fight.
Oh, the overall. Oh, yeah, the attack or something, right?
Yeah, they attack the gypsies. People die. Kieran Bay gets shot. And then from there, they end up getting revenge on the attacker. They shoot him in his hotel, office, apartment.
Escape window or something, yeah.
Yeah, they it's like a big old billboard, and you know, there's like a lady, and the mouth opens, and they shoot him. Cool. So then from there, Bond gets back to the hotel. You know, he goes take a shower, but then he hears some rustling. He like walks around, and what does he know? He finds that that Russian hottie laying in his bed naked. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so he bangs her. Uh,
Naturally.
And then we find out that effectively Spectre's making a fucking porno of James Bond because they're recording the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then from there, Bond, what's the Russian chick's name?
Tatiana.
Tatiana and Kieran Bay get on a train. Long story short, Kieran Bay dies. And then from there, that's when Red Grant shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And Bond thought that he was another 00.
Or Contact, yeah.
Yeah. But turns out, no, he's working for Spectre. They go to dinner. And then from there, Red Grant drugs Tatiana. They get back to the train cabin, and then at one point in time, Bond thinks he knows what's going on. He pulls a gun on Red Grant, and then he puts it away, and then Red Grant pulls the gun out. And then just when you think that this is going to be the end for Bond. Oh, and then, of course, in typical Bond fashion, Red Grant tells Bond the whole thing. What's going on.
All the parties, yeah.
Yeah, and he finds out that they made a porno with him and Tatiana. They found out that, this whole time that Bond thinks that, it's the Russians, and no, it's Spectre. And Spectre is trying to pit the Russians and the Brits against each other, Oh, and then let's just take a step back.
Of course.
The whole reason why M agreed to this, even though they all know it's a trap, they're trying to get something called the Lictor.
Lector, yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know what that is.
It's a decoder, apparently. A Russian decoder.
All right, there you go. So they're trying to get the decoder.
A thing. There's always, I think the most thing with, like, Bond movies, there's always, like, a thing. Yeah. An imaginary equipment that needs to be saved or recovered. And this is the one.
So after Red Grant tells the whole plot, to Bond, then from there, somehow Bond kills Red Grant. He escapes with Tatiana, who's still, like, drugged. They make it off the train. Bond ends up capturing the guy that was supposed to be Red Grant's getaway vehicle. They're driving down this dirt path. There's a fucking helicopter that tries to kill him. Bond takes out the fucking helicopter. And then from there, they all get on a boat because there's also an escape boat. And from there, Bond, once they start boating away, Bond pushes the guy that was helping him escape, but should have been there for Red Grant. He pushes him in the water, and then what do you know? Bond's surrounded by all of the Spectre boats, but it's okay because miraculously Bond had like 5 extra fucking barrels of fuel, because that was supposed to be enough for them to get away down to, fuck, I don't even know where they were going.
Venice. They were going to Venice. Yeah.
Yeah, from Istanbul, which I have no clue how far that is. So hopefully
I would say I think it's pretty far. I don't know.
I have no idea. I did not look that up.
You need 5 gallons of fuel to get there. So
you say 5 gallons. It was like 5 barrels of like 55-gallon drums. Like it was a lot of fucking gasoline. It was barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Donkey Kong style barrels, bro.
Yeah. So effectively, Bond's Donkey Konging like these barrels. They're like. I don't know. They shot at it. They were falling in the river, and then Bond, threw the last one in there. He grabs a flare. He fucking shoots it. It's like a ring of fire, like a Johnny Cash song around all the Spectre boats.
Yeah.
And they died.
They died.
And then from there, they make it to Venice. There's a cut scene in which 1, 3, and 5 are talking, and it looks like 1 is going to have number 3 killed because the plan went haywire. But then, in a weird turn of events, they kill 5, which I still don't know why they killed 5.
Kronstein. I don't know.
Yeah, he was less like.
I don't know.
I have no clue. And then from there, it looks like Bond and the fucking Tatiana. They're in the hotel. They're gonna get away, but man, this weird old looking pesky housemaid comes in, steal the Lecter. Turns out it's number 3. And she's like, "Come on, Tatiana." And it's like, "Oh man, Tatiana just betrayed me." But then right when she's about to kill him, Tatiana comes back and, takes out number 3. And then it ends with Bond and Tatiana banging on a boat or some shit like that.
That's right. Doing a weird little wave at the end.
Yeah. We have 2 movies so far that have ended with him banging a chick in a boat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got a reputation for a reason.
I guess.
So I think a few things. I mean, we can go back and talk through everything. You did not mention that she did not know anything about the plan, Tatiana. She was also a pawn.
Yeah, she was still, my understanding is she was still working for the Russians, and she thought this whole time she was working for the Russians, and, number 3 effectively manipulated her into working for Spectre.
So, yeah. So I guess I do like the fact that they even said it purely a revenge scheme. Like, you could say that sometimes, like, Dr.No has had some plan of, like, taking out this satellite, or someone wants to take over the world, but they were just like, "Nah, man, fuck Bond. We're going to kill him."
Yeah.
He killed Dr.No, yeah.
Yeah. It started, they were trying to extract revenge because he took out Dr.No, who was, I guess, relatively high. I don't know what number he was. Maybe he was number 2. Maybe.
I don't know. That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
No one said. So Dr. No was the bad guy in the first one.
Yep.
In this one, would you say that Kleb, number 3, was the main antagonist, or was it Grant?
That was a weird thing. I felt like this one really didn't have a bad guy. Like, sure, you could say number 3. I mean, it definitely had a henchman, but I mean, sure, we'll roll with number 3 as kind of like the de facto like Bond villain. But when everything kind of shakes out and we go through the whole series, I don't think this is going to stand up there as far as like Bond villains.
I guess to me it might have been just that they wanted to have Spectre be the enemy this time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Almost like consequences for him killing Dr. No. That's the only thing I could think of, because, and they had Grant. Maybe they were like, we're gonna have this like henchman dude that can like stalk him the entire movie instead of just a guy that's like hidden in a fortress, kind of thing. What did you think about this one? Was more, across the world, kind of, like Jamaica. The first one was just in Jamaica. This one was a lot of countries, like we're talking London, Venice, Istanbul.
And we'll see it as Bond
Croatia
kind of produces and kind of expands and grows as the movies go on. I felt like this was, we'll give them a college try for an attempt. Like, I don't know, like, even like talking back, I watched this movie like 4 days ago, and it just, right now, it still feels muddied. Like, and
What do you mean?
I had a hard time following, the plot of this movie. And I don't think that had to do with them traveling to the, different locations.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this movie, like for it being a sequel, like they went for it, and I'll give them that credit, but it felt like, they were definitely early in the stages of, what Bond was. I know for me personally, I don't think this movie is going to, and I know you and I kind of off air kind of probably have different opinions on this movie. It There were times when like I feel like every scene was necessary for the plot. However, like there are some scenes that I'm just like, man, if I never watch this ever again in my life, I'll probably live happy.
I
Like the gypsy scene. Like, man, I don't know.
I think that scene was just used to show that Grant was in the shadows, which they've already did when he was following him.
Yeah,
I get it. I think personally, I think this was way better than Dr.No, and I think this is. I enjoyed it. I think yes, I agree with you on the plot being, what's the word? Bloated, maybe in
right.
a way. There was, I think it was a slow starter, and I think that's what happens sometimes, right? Like, you show the training thing with the guy pretending to be Bond or whatever, right? And then they like I made a note. James does not show up in the movie till 18 minutes in. That's the first time you see him on the river with that chick. 18 minutes go by before you even see him, which is a lot.
Kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and so like they do that training thing. They show, I think they even show Tatiana and Kleb meeting, right before they even talk to Bond. And then they show Kronstein and Spectre talking. So all these three pieces get put in before Bond even shows up, and then they do the whole Karen Bay. And to me, for a bit, I was like, why are we hanging out with this dude?
Right.
Like, why are we hanging out in Istanbul for a couple days and stuff? And I think if they tightened it up a little bit there, it would been fine. But I guess the whole point was to show that, like, he hadn't met that girl yet. He was just kind of hanging out.
Well,
he was waiting to contact her, right?
So, yeah. So, I ended up, I don't know if I just can't work this fucking Blu-ray player, but like, I didn't figure out.
That's why you don't like it, because you can't do a Blu-ray player?
No. Well, maybe I don't. So, I didn't figure out until like the third attempt at this movie, because I started watching it after Dr.No, and then I fell asleep, and then I watched it another time, and I fell asleep, and I couldn't fast forward on the actual movie, but I found where all the little scenes were, and I could pick the scene in the Blu-ray.
Okay, yeah.
On the third attempt, so like I watched that scene with like Karen Bay, like in the beginning, like 3 times, and on the third time, I actually looked it up because I thought that Karen Bay was the hotel owner, and like that.
I think that's just
like,
you being racist, Mike.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I do think there's a thing with older movies where like a lot of the actors, they all kind of look like regular people,
right?
You know what I mean? Like you can even say Connery kind of looks like just a regular dude sometimes, right?
Can we get in that real quick?
What's that?
Connery. Yeah. So like Connery, he's a well put together guy. He's your true like ladies man. I looked it up because I'm like, man, how fucking old is Connery in this movie? Because
I think he was like 45, maybe.
He was 32. Yeah, and I'm like, dog, I'm 36.
Yeah.
How many fucking cigarettes and happy endings and fucking, booze?
Fucking, yeah, it was a vodka martinis, dude.
Yeah, once I found out that he was 32, I was like, man, this guy looks terrible.
If I remember correctly, I don't know what movie it is. It might be this one. It might be Goldfinger. Goldfinger. Yeah, Goldfinger. Where he has to wear a toupee.
Because he's losing his hair?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
There's like if I remember correctly, there's like maybe only one movie he has his real hair. So, but poor Sean Connery, rip. But I do think he was still like. I do think it's funny how like he just does look like he had no clothes on one time. Remember, he was like in his hotel room, just a regular
and he had
dude.
Taco meat and
like not even no muscle, just skinny dude. Like didn't matter.
Yeah, I just think about that scene, and I mean, obviously, we're gonna talk about it in like I don't know, 20 movies or so. But think about Casino Royale when we see fucking Daniel Craig on the beach, and he's in his little Euro cut, and dude is fucking ripped, and he's like, at that time, I think he was like early 40s, and he's just fucking jacked. I'm like, yeah, that's Bond, But
it's funny how like I think it's part of cinema, and it's part of just. The I think it's mostly the Hollywood at the time where they didn't really feel the need to push it because they even said Grant he was a physical specimen and he was just a tall dude. He wasn't really like Brock Lesnar looking dude. You know what I mean? He wasn't like a Dave Bautista looking jack dude.
Right.
He was just like a tall blonde guy.
Yeah.
He was kind of pudgy.
Yeah.
And like they're like, my God, what a beast. And I was just like. All right, I guess.
Yeah, and
for the 60s, I suppose.
Yeah, this is before actors started discovering roids.
Yeah, roids were a thing. Yeah, but I do think that was funny. It's so when they had these regular guys kind of playing actors and stuff, it is sometimes hard to distinguish like who's who.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and especially when they like film in like these big areas of busy places. I do.
I feel. What I will say about this movie is I feel like it had to be made for the future of Bond because kind of compare and contrast to the first movie. So Dr.No, it was your action movie, it was a good movie, but like it was not this like big high production, big kind of action like thriller, it was kind of just a guy, kind of slooping around trying to bang randos, and then he stumbled upon some evil genius that was
I do think
reactor.
I think that like showing, and I bring up the travel aspect again because I think it was a good book that they decided to adapt that escalated Bond from just being in one little country island of Jamaica to the world, that like it's a worldwide espionage film almost, right? Because it's two countries are getting pitted against each other by a secret government or secret company, Spectre, to make these guys fight each other. So it's like almost like now it's like the whole world and not just like some guy went missing in Jamaica. Can you go find out what happened? And so I do think that was the right step to make, and I think they did a good job of making him feel like. He wasn't like, sometimes you could say like, oh, it went more broad and like he got lost, in it. And I don't think he did. I do think there are parts of the plot that like early on that kind of fluffed it maybe with the Karen Bay stuff. Right. And the fact that I got a phone call. Hold on.
So something that I did enjoy, kind of a really, really like small thing at the end.
Sure.
I really liked that they told us Goldmember was coming. Now, obviously, we're watching this and,
Goldfinger.
What did I say?
Goldmember.
Yeah, Lost in Powers, Bond. They're kind of one and the same.
Same. Yeah, they are the same.
Yeah. So Goldfinger.
Did they say they did say?
Yeah, at the end. So,
I must have skipped on that.
So right after the movie ends, before the credits, it says James Bond will return in Goldfinger.
Oh, okay.
So they straight
Yeah.
up called it. You know, so like, I mean, obviously, you know, we know this fucking movie came out, you know, but
Mhm.
like, you know, being back in the 60s, like that had to be cool seeing that you just saw two James
And they're
Bond
making another one.
movies, you know, you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I like this, you know, Bond character, and they're like, hey, guess what? He's coming back, motherfucker. You know?
Yeah. I do think it is kind of ballsy to be like he's already coming back.
Yeah.
Unless that was added later.
I don't
And like
think so. I mean, now
yeah.
again, I wasn't there in the 60s,
But
but
I definitely did read that movie has made I think the budget was like 2 million and it made like 80 million. Like it was
for
like
From
fucking
Russia with Love.
yeah, so they probably were like, yeah, we're good.
Well, and,
You know, like we made the money.
did you ever look up the box office for Dr.No? I mean, it had to
I
do well.
I think I don't remember the numbers, but I do remember it being very well for the fact. I mean, like you gotta think it did well to make a sequel, you
Right.
know, and then spawn what it did. And it's kind of funny to think how it watching it evolve.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about how the bloated plot, or we're talking about the strings being pulled, and like I think that's just like this is like a tease of like what comes to all Bond movies. You know, like they all have these little backstabbers, these like double crossing agents. You know, like fuck, I could even think up to like Vesper Lynn, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all the way up to there. You could even go all the way even further with Madeline Swan possibly being part of like related to Spectre and stuff like that.
Oh, she was
She wa-
related.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You know, like there's like they said it. They started it here, where they're like, oh, by the way, there's a lot
Well,
more going on than just Bond trying to bang this hot Russian chick.
I have unofficially been trying to keep up a James Bond bang tracker.
Okay, where are we
Um,
at now? What was
so-
that? What was Dr.No?
3 bangs.
3 bangs and Dr.No.
Yeah.
I feel like he had one bang.
1 bang and an eluded bang. So in the beginning,
Alluded.
they
yes.
alluded to
He
him.
said, "How about that lunch or something like that, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever it was."
They
sure.
alluded to because he's like, yeah, I'll be there in half an hour. Yeah, well, making an hour.
Like an hour and a half. Yeah.
Something like that.
What
So,
is that chick? I think her name's Evelyn, right? Maybe.
I have no idea.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure. By the way, I think his car was a Bentley. I think I looked that up.
Oh, I was also gonna ask.
I think that was a Bentley.
/ say we really didn't have a Bond car in this movie.
We didn't have one last movie either, did we?
No, we did. We had the Sunbeam Alpine.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I guess this one you had a boat.
Sure.
Well, he had that. Yeah, you're right. He really didn't because he was on the Orient Express the whole time.
Yeah,
right?
he was on a train. He was on a boat. He was
His car
on...
in the beginning with the car phone. That was a Bentley.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know. I'm grasping straws here. I know.
Yeah, and I mean,
But,
it wasn't like there was any like sweet Bond scenes in that movie. You know.
The Nito car. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean,
Is she the first Bond girl? She's been in 2 movies, and I'm assuming that they hang out often.
no.
Is she his first girlfriend on
No.
screen?
I'm gonna go with the illiterate girl, Honey Rider.
Honey,
That's got to
she's
be
only
the first Bond.
she's like half illiterate. She's gotten through half the alphabet.
You know, and look, I think when we hit that part of the last recording, I was under the weather at that point.
Yeah.
But like,
Mhm.
man, so if you want to like rank the Bond girls so far, like clearly, I'll take Tatiana. You know, like
Yeah, I was gonna get to this. I guess a ranking, and I do think that they did a great job of having like Tatiana be like way more fleshed out of a
Yeah.
character.
makes sense. You know why I would like her because they way more screen time. The only
Mhm.
thing that like I don't know, I'm still grappling with is she was so like dick deep for Mother Russia. And what,
Mhm.
Bond has a golden penis, and she's like in love. Like, dude's a womanizer. Like, I love
I
Bond.
mean, yes, he is, but
Yeah,
I think he's that way for a reason.
sure,
I mean, that's part of the mystique of him, right? Is that like
sure. But
he's
what
got
I'm
a gold
saying,
dick.
yeah. But what I'm saying is
He's
like,
got a massive gold dong, or
dude,
maybe it's small, and he can get in those little crevices that no one else can get to.
or
You
maybe
know,
maybe he's just doing like the whirly bird, like
he's
inside.
doing like a what the hell is it called? A water mill.
You know?
I don't know, but like I do think it is interesting how like Kleb made sure that Tatiana was attracted to him before she sent her on the mission. Remember, she sent the picture to her, and she was like, "Would you fall in love with this guy?" Now, there's also the fact that when did she really fall in love with him? Was it not until the end? Because was she still playing the game?
I have no idea, and that's part of the mystery of the movie. You never know,
Because for real, she really didn't have to show her hand until like Kleb showed up, and then she attacked back.
I mean, which is one of the mystiques and one of the beauties of Bond movies and these Bond girls, because like,
Mhm.
yeah, we can talk about him being a womanizer and, does he actually, love her back? But like, we will see this, play out throughout, some of these movies like, Casino Royale, did
Yeah,
Vesper actually love Bond? Or was she just trying to,
you damn right she did. Goddamn right she did.
I'm not quite sure.
All right, we'll get to that
And
one day.
we will get
One
to
year,
that.
we'll get there.
And it's funny. It's funny too because like we kind of talked about in the last episode. Like I've seen all these movies at least once. I know you've watched
Mhm.
them way more than once. Maybe twice. 3 times now. But
Yeah, I
like
think maybe this is
I do. And this isn't trying to like spoil the series. I do think that some of these movies it's going to be like a fun nostalgia bake, a fun get through until we get
Mhm.
into the actual movies that everyone gives a shit about, which is Daniel Craig.
Well, I think it was a very fine appreciation for Connery. So,
and Connery,
and I would so I would
Connery
say,
set
and
the
then
tone, and he
and
set
there
the
is
bar.
we'll get to it, but there are people that like Roger Moore for some reason.
And
We'll get to it though.
we will
When we
get
get
to
to
it, and I think I might be one of them. But when we get through these movies, I might not. So,
Exactly. Who knows?
the only thing I know for sure is I am not a Pierce Brosnan guy.
So we know Bond girl upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Cars
We'll say downgrade because we really
downgrade.
didn't see one.
Yeah, downgrade. Villain,
Downgrade.
even though it's like an organization. I agree. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I'm still gonna say downgrade.
What about location, locale?
Upgrade.
Any cool? Oh my God! How we forget Q?
Yeah.
He wasn't. So he wasn't specifically called Q, but that is the actor Desmond Llewellyn,
Yep.
who plays Q until like World's Not Enough, I think.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a different Q or quartermaster for the first movie, right?
There was, yeah.
And then this one, this guy's iconic. He rolls through. And then this was the first movie that they actually like gave Bond, like they had the exchange with Q where they actually gave him like because he got the briefcase.
Gadgets, yeah. So he had gadgets, and it was like, so I would say that's an upgrade. Here's a briefcase with like a trap in it, and he's got all these like tricks, which is always funny. Every movie's the same though, but when they explain it, and you're like, oh, when's he gonna use these gold sovereigns? I wonder how, and then you fast forward and
be at the end.
Yeah, or like, oh, he's gonna get some of that briefcase gas, and you're like, and it's coming, and you're just waiting for it to happen,
which is funny.
I just specifically think of The Ring and GoldenEye, where he puts on the glass. You're like, oh, there's a ring. Or was that Die Another Day? I don't know.
They all suck.
You know what I mean? There's always something, and you're like, oh, yeah, obviously. He never wears a ring, but today he's going to wear one to get out of this jam.
What's funny is maybe it was just the fact that, like, I watched this movie over a couple days, or, like I said, I felt like the plot was kind of convoluted. I completely forgot about the fucking briefcase until that scene. I was like, oh, the briefcase. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, I know in some of the movies, like, he'll show off, you know, hey, you've got this watch. I'm like, oh, when's he going to use the watch? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, this, I completely forgot about the briefcase.
I do think it was definitely an upgrade. Definitely showing... We'll see, because I know I remember what is debuted in Goldfinger. We'll get to it. And how, like, the Q branch kind of grows. You know, gets even more awesome. But it was nice to see that, like, they knew it was a trap. So they got him equipped with some MI6, you know, top secret shit. Moneypenny had a little bit of more lines. They showed their little flirtation more, I think.
I felt like
they showed a bit Dr.No, but
yeah. I don't know, for that, like, if we're ranking like Moneypenny, I'd say they're probably neck and neck.
I think him and M's interactions were better.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go through every aspect that's always in every movie, you know, like now, like you said, the ending was the intro.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the intro, did this one have a song?
No, so it didn't. But there was a song at the end from Russia with Love.
Okay, because I
at
know
the end, and it was also played.
Didn't have a song.
Yeah, it didn't have a song. The song was played on those people on the canoe when Bond was on the river with that chick. It was played on their like radios they're going by.
Gondola.
Yeah, no, that's at the end, right?
I don't know.
In the beginning with that other girl.
Oh.
Where they first introduce and they play that song and then they play it again at the end.
Okay.
However, I would say this is probably the first, I think this is the first title sequence to have like chicks. You know, they're in the background like belly dancing, which is I guess the gypsy scene, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I know, and I think they're dancing. And I think that's like, I think it wasn't in Dr.No. I think Dr.No just had like shapes and stuff, like lights going on and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first, like, kind of like, chicks, check out these babes, because you know how it gets in later on. I think that they did the helicopter fight was kind of, that was new. You know, he took out a the fucking guy held a grenade like an.
I mean, I will say, like, this one had more of like big fights in the sense of like. You had the fight with the helicopter. You had the fight with the boats. You know, in Dr.No, you had that like kind of cheesy car scene where it just like sporadically caught on fire. You know,
your favorite, and he said they're like late for a funeral. Yeah. And then I think they fought that dragon that Coral thought was a real dragon. It was just like a tank with eyes. That was like the big battle. I think. They definitely did better in this one with those kind of things. I think, I do like the fact that Tatiana was like the whole movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, you know, I do think that she's a better, you know, Bond girl. Because she was there, you know, for most
And I know
of it.
we said that, yeah, exactly. I know we said we didn't like the villain as much. However, I will say I do like the fact that they have more Spectre people in it. In the background, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that Kronstein gets stabbed in the dick right away for no reason. We never see how great this dude really is. He's supposed to be like some chess grandmaster who's like a strategist genius.
That was another thing. Like, what was the point of that? Just to show that he was brilliant? Like...
The chess thing?
Yeah.
I guess so. He's just smart.
Okay.
I know. Right? Okay. Yeah, good job, bro. You can play chess.
So if we're ranking the Bond movies so far, I'm I'm gonna put this number 2. Like, and here's why. So, like, it started out, like, it had me, you know, like, that intro when, like, Bond was, like, sleuthing around, you know, I'm like, oh, man, you know, I'm, like, kind of glued in, and you find it's not a Bond, and you're like, okay, and then, like you said, 18 minutes goes by, you know, before you see Bond, and, like, I appreciate that this movie effectively is the building blocks for, you know, the Bonds that we know, but so far, like, just comparing the 2 movies that we've seen so far, I'll put Dr.No higher.
Wow.
Which
I go opposite.
And I know that's probably a hot take because
It is hot.
I looked at reviews on the internet. People love this movie. Like, fucking love it.
Yeah, did you look at any rankings people have of the movies?
No, but just based off of how you're saying it, this is probably ranked relatively high.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think it's above Dr. No. I like taking this movie by movie, so I'm not gonna be like, this is a top 3 movie for me, like, right away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna go as they come, right? But I did look up some rankings just to see, and a few of them, like, I think I saw this like number 2 for a lot of them, 2 and 3, only behind like Skyfall.
Wow,
which is crazy.
Good for them, you know.
I know, it was like, I think it's mostly because of all the things it established, and then, you know, like, the bones in the movie, and like all that, and like how it took it from Dr. No into what we're gonna see as it goes on, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, like that's in some of this, like, I don't know if they're like older moviegoers or what, but like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm a big Zelda guy.
Yeah.
You know, I can only rank the first 3 Zelda games so high, and I know how much people like, you know, Link to the Past from Super Nintendo,
Right.
but like, that doesn't even cut my top 5, and like, I can appreciate it so much, but like, you know, maybe it was just because it wasn't my time period or what, you know, like, looking back,
Which I think is always the hardest part with an old movie too. It's, yeah, I get you on that.
You know,
because I was going to ask you, what is worse about, what makes this one below Dr. No?
For me, I just think that maybe it was just Dr.No kind of trimmed the fat a little bit. Like, so a lot of times
I'm curious,
when I watch,
how much shorter is it?
And I don't even know if it's shorter. You know, it's just the idea of like, I don't know what you do when you watch movies, but a lot of times I'll kind of fuck around on my phone and, you know, play like stupid phone games while I'm watching, you know, just because, like, you know, for the most part, I can watch that kind of thing. So I don't know if it was just like with Dr.No, you know, I was trying to take this, you know, because this is the first time that I know Gin and Sofa does quite a few movie reviews. This is the first time I've done, you know, kind of like a movie-based episode. So maybe I was more glued in on that first one because I just, you know, I take notes and I just want to make sure that, you know, I can talk
Did
about
Did you not take notes for this one?
I took a few, but like I did find myself just, you know, kind of fucking around on my phone, you know, hoping that it was over, you know. And I will say that the first half was painful for me. The second half, I felt like the second half did get better. You know, like
they had you in the first
half,
huh?
When you and I talked off screen, and I was telling you that I wasn't a big fan of this movie, I'd only watched the first half, and I did soften on the movie, you know, seeing that second half, but like, I don't know, maybe it just lost me at the gypsy fight, and I never recovered. I just thought that shit was cheesy.
It was definitely fluff in the beginning. I think it was very more front-loaded in fluff.
Yeah.
Turns out Dr.No is 6 minutes shorter. That's the whole difference.
But Dr.No had me the whole time. You know?
Yeah, I think I like this one better. Just I could see how it's I also have I don't know if you noticed, they came out with like a video game from From Russia with Love for
On
like
the
PlayStation.
Atari?
No,
Oh,
PlayStation 3
okay.
and or something like that. And I used to play that all the time. And like it was like you remember all the Bond games they came out with for a while, video
Uh,
games.
yeah, like GoldenEye. Pretty much it was like GoldenEye on.
Yeah, and then like they made From Russia with Love, and it was like Sean Connery provided like the voice and stuff, I think, and like they it was pretty good, you know. And I always had this like you could play through the story. Sometimes that helps. They get rid of some of the fluff, you know. I think they added some other stuff, of course, but like I remember that, and that was a pretty solid game. I'm trying to find out. There it is, 2005. Um, do. So it means 2005 is what? PlayStation 3?
PlayStation 2?
2? PlayStation 2. GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox. Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure when we get closer,
They changed
to,
the name of Spectre to Octopus because they didn't have the rights anymore. Pussy. But yeah, so differing opinions here. But
which I think is good. You know, and like I know to a degree how our I think I have an idea of how this list is going to shake out, you know, kind of in the top for you and I. So I mean I'm all for, you know, us having differing opinions, and even like I know that your number one and my number one are different, and you know I think that's if we're both sitting here going, "Yep, this movie blows ass," nope, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, you know, I think it at least keeps these 7 people that are listening to us engaged.
That's
enough.
right. That's all we need now. Yeah, so stick around. We're gonna eventually get to Goldfinger, or is it
I
Gold
like
Member?
gold.
I'll say, or is it Gold Member? Yeah, and see where the Bond franchise takes us next. We may or may not make the drink that we talked about earlier. I think we're gonna tweak it, but we definitely have some cognac in it.
And we'll talk off air because
we'll figure it out.
An idea of how to tweak it.
But yeah, guys, stick around next time. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with my opinion or Mike's opinion, or you have your own. That's possible as well.
There's only 2 episodes so far. How could you have your own?
Your own opinion. It's different. They're the equal movies. Yeah,
Different,
hit us
but
up on hit us up on all the socials and stuff, you know. And we might have this on YouTube. We might not. Depends on how the video turns out. Okay, we have a lot of issues, technical difficulties. All right,
we're working through the kinks, you know.
We're millennials. We're trying. It's hard.
I need a Gen Z friend.
It's very hard. All right, Gin and Sofa out.